Did ancient humans womanize? Did ancient human men have girlfriends? Did they chase multiple women? Were there prehistoric womanizers? We often imagine ancient humans as hunters fighting for survival, but they were also social beings who formed families, friendships, and relationships. So, did ancient men womanize? The answer might surprise you. Thousands of years ago, there were no dating apps, nightclubs, or social media. But attraction didn't suddenly appear in modern times. Ancient humans were still humans. They experienced attraction, jealousy, competition, affection, and attachment. So it's very likely that some ancient men pursued multiple partners. But there's an important difference between saying some men had multiple partners and saying all ancient men were womanizers. There is simply no evidence for that. Ancient relationships were complicated. Prehistoric communities were usually small. People depended heavily on one another for food, protection, childcare, and survival. That meant relationships weren't simply about romance. A partnership could also involve cooperation. Raising children was especially demanding because human children take many years to become independent. So having a reliable partner could provide important advantages. This may be one reason humans developed strong long-term bonds. But that doesn't mean every relationship was permanent. Different communities probably had different customs. Some may have favored long-term partnerships, while others may have allowed relationships with multiple partners. Human societies have always been diverse. What about jealousy? Here's something interesting. Do you think ancient humans got jealous? We can't look into the mind of someone who lived thousands of years ago. But jealousy is found across many human societies today. And because ancient humans had similar basic emotional and social capacities, it's reasonable to think they experienced it too. Imagine living in a small group where everyone knows everyone. If your partner suddenly became interested in someone else, you wouldn't need Instagram to find out. Everyone might already know. This could have created tension and competition within the group. Did some men have multiple partners? It's certainly possible. But this doesn't mean every man had several partners. In fact, if some men had multiple partners, other men would have fewer opportunities. That could create competition for status, resources, and social influence. So prehistoric relationships may have involved a mixture of cooperation and competition. Some men may have had long-term partners. Others may have had multiple partners. And some may not have had partners at all. But women had choices too. There's another part of the story that's often forgotten. Ancient women weren't simply waiting around for men to choose them. Women also made choices about partners. They could accept someone, reject someone, form relationships, and participate in the social decisions of their communities. So prehistoric relationships weren't simply about men chasing women. Both men and women influenced who formed relationships with whom. So, were ancient men womanizers? The most honest answer is, but we shouldn't imagine every prehistoric man as some kind of ancient Casanova. Archaeology can't tell us exactly what happened between two people thousands of years ago. Scientists can study skeletons, settlements, genetics, burials, and artifacts, but those things don't give us someone's personal dating history. So the idea of the prehistoric womanizer is partly speculation. What we can say with much greater confidence is that ancient humans formed complex social relationships. They cared for children. They cooperated. They competed. They experienced attraction. And they probably experienced jealousy and affection too. In other words, they were human. They just didn't have smartphones. Final thought. Maybe that's the most fascinating thing about ancient humans. They lived thousands of years before us, but they weren't emotionally empty creatures simply trying to survive. They had families. They had friends. They had people they loved, and probably people they found attractive. The world around them was ancient, but some parts of human nature were already surprisingly familiar. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think ancient humans were mostly monogamous, or do you think they had much more complicated relationships? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden side of human history, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. because there's still a lot about our ancient ancestors that might surprise you. Subscribe, and let's uncover the strange truth about human history together.